We're here at Pacific Peak Advisors today in Ketchum with none other than Sean Kovich, private equity manager. Now, Sean, we're a long way from any stock exchange here in Ketchum, aren't we?
Quite a bit, yeah.
Very interesting. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this.
Hopefully they're not too personal. Now, Sean, there's a lot of balls up in the air right now. How are you interpreting our financial markets right now?
So all eyes right now are on the Federal Reserve, and they're meeting right now in Jackson Hole starting on Thursday to talk about interest rates and inflation. And anytime you talk about interest rates, the discussion really has to be inflation. Inflation is the problem, and raising interest rates is one of the main solutions to that problem. So that's one of the main things we're looking at right now, because the interest rates are going to continue going up until inflation comes under control. And right now we're facing some of the worst inflation that we've had since the 80s, at a time when interest rates and mortgage rates got up to about 16%. So unlikely that that's going to happen again, but I see interest rates increasing until we can get inflation under control.
Sean, you mentioned Jackson Hole. That seems like a bit of a lavish place for a federal entity to be meeting, but do you think it has anything to do with the fact that Allen and Company's in Sun Valley and they want their own kind of sexy meeting place?
This is a meeting that's been going on quite a while. It's actually a global symposium where quite a few central bankers from around the world are invited. Usually somewhere around 100 to 120 people are there from all around the globe to talk about what they see in the financial world and what they see on an economic front and what they think is going to be the best approach forward. Now, this is going to be an opportunity for them to convey a message about inflation and where we're at, because the last time he spoke publicly, it sounded like they thought the situation was under control. And it seems to me like that may not be the case. So we'll have to see what happens with inflation, and again, that's going to be the main focus.
Sean, one of my themes right now is grounding. Doesn't seem like what you're describing has a lot of grounding, and hopefully that is the outcome of what this event and this meeting is. And let me ask you, what do you see as grounding right now?
Historically, if you look at periods of high inflation, which is what we're going through, the two things that tend to hold up pretty well in that environment are value stocks and real estate. Going back to people's basic needs, you need a place to live, you need to buy food to put on the table, you need, diapers, the basic things. So, those tend to be the things that do well in inflationary environments, because there's not as much of a choice on whether you need them or not, or whether you can put them off. So people tend to flock to companies like Johnson & Johnson and to real estate. So even though we're in a period where inflation and interest rates are going to tend to be higher, you're going to have the counteracting force of real estate tending to hold up pretty well in that environment. So it's a bit of a push and a pull, and we'll have to see how that works out.
This has been an update from Sean Kovich, Pacific Peak Advisors, right here in Ketchum.